we wanted to be memorable, really. That's all. No, we wanted to be trendy as well. And it was sort of trendy to be a little bit on the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Feminine.
Yeah. To be a bit effeminate, but I mean, the idea of the haircut was so that people could walk into a record shop and say, I want the record by the guy with the long hair on one side, and we'd sell it. You know, you've always got to make yourself available for people. I still see people doing it now. I go out and see a group and I want to buy the record. You can't even find it in the shops. That's not going to work. We like Cabs. We all liked Cabs. They're really the great band of the decade, I think, from Sheffield. But we weren't like them. We wanted to be Donna Summer or, well, not even Kraftwerk. We'd rather have been ABBA than Kraftwerk. We just wanted to do pop records. We loved pop. We'd love David Bowie. We'd love Roxy Music, and that's what we wanted to be. And we thought, we're not going to do it with guitars. And Martin and Ian weren't going to learn guitars, so we did it with synths. Because it was sort of approached quite intellectually, really, by Martin and Ian, and I took the ideas on, they were quite dogmatic about it for a little while, especially Ian, actually. Ian's always got theories going. And, it was a selling point. We don't use guitars or drums. But we sort of thought we couldn't win, but also thought we couldn't fail. And I remember we used to have to share hotel rooms, and I remember lying in two separate beds in a hotel room in London with Bob Last, our manager, discussing exactly what format of people we were going to have on Top of the Pops. And Martin and Ian weren't going to go on because we didn't want people to know who it was, and I could wear a lot of makeup, and we'd have all these girls in suits and all this sort of thing. We're quite happily discussing all that, and the record sold 2,000 copies. The Sheffield scene were really still laughing at us, I think, especially because there had been some early promise, and with Bean Boyle being big on the indie charts and so on, and getting signed to Virgin. But again, we'd sort of reverted to those idiots walking around with synthesizers when you should have guitars, and we just worked away in our little mock studio. I've got to say, it had a terrible, certainly mix, probably production. We did the whole thing in 2 weeks, recorded and mixed, and we took the weekend off as well. And it was. I think we were quite hurt. We thought everything's going to go very, very badly wrong now. But we did the next LP. We just got a little ex-vets in Sheffield, the veterinary surgeons, and we recorded the whole lot on that tape recorder there, on our own with an engineer from London, and it sounded a lot better. And suddenly we're at number 11 in the charts again. Yeah, we were really in a terrible state. We thought it was just all going to finish. We had to do the tour. Neither myself nor Adrian could play any instruments, so we just had to get people in. We largely got Joan and Susan also because they had high voices, and I had a thing at the time about having more high voices on the records. I think people find them more attractive. It was like a little change in history. Before then, men had been really prominent, and since then, I'd say women have been prominent in pop.
You didn't know we had high voices, though.
I would have been surprised if you if you'd talked about Arthur Mullard, I'd have just walked away.
We weren't very easily missable.
Well, you weren't as ostentatious as some, though.
No, but I think we did show off more than a lot.
You had a lot of confidence.
We like dancing.
Especially when no one else was.
Yeah, especially when no one else was. So everyone would look at us. We got hit several times, but we got used to that. We were just in a nightclub. We'd heard on the grapevine that the original Human League had split up, and we were just dancing in the Crazy Daisy, and Philip was in there with his girlfriend, and I came off the dance floor, and he just asked if John and I would be interested in going on a tour with them. He explained everything in that the original group had been contracted to do a tour of Europe, and if they didn't fulfil that contract, they would have been sued for a lot of money, and Philip and Adrian wanted to keep the name of the Human League, and that was the only way they could do it. And they just wanted what they originally went out to look for was one sort of tall black girl to dance on stage, but then Philip saw Joanne and I, and thought that we looked sort of, like you said, confident and good together, and because we were very obviously mates, we could look after each other. But he never said, will you join the Human League? It was always just, will you come on this tour with us and just add a bit of life to it for this 3 weeks? We bought tickets for the first show that we ended up playing at. We got albums and stuff. I think Joanne and I were pretty fearless at that stage because it just felt to us like we were just doing an extension of what we like doing in the local nightclubs. We were stood on a podium dancing, and it was like, great, everybody's looking at us, we don't care. And that's, and I don't think it really hit us until we went, after we'd been all around Europe, and then we came back and we played the Hammersmith Odeon. And I think that we suddenly thought, oh God, there's 2,500 people out there who've paid quite a bit of money to see them. We might be a complete shambles.
Me and Susan were still at school doing our A-levels and Susan's mum actually came up to the school and got us out of lessons so we could go to London and go on Top of the Pops. That was quite cool.